Welcome back, everyone. Drake Hawkins again for some more Ymir. We have played this before on the channel, and I'm going to try to kick in a Season 3 option here for a return to what's new in the game, and we have been doing, I've been trying to get together videos for a new set of series that'll be running on a 7-day, Monday to Sunday, run for 7 days. Let's see how the community thinks about the game, give you an introduction, let me show off as much as I can of the game, and then kind of put it on the hold until we decide as a group whether or not it's something we want to continue, and if it's something that warrants a longer playstyle. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ymir is a designed to be this persistent mode, which is a 24/7, the world's always running, whether you're online or not. Every action and thing can take several hours to progress. Like, you move your armies to attack somebody, that can be like an hour-and-a-half long process just to get a few basically tiles away to attack them. So a very slow, long process thing. Real time is actually something I've been joining Sheraton and his crew that are doing a Saturday stream. It's from about noon till 5, and I'd like to continue to do that again this weekend if there's some interest in that. The game is in real-time mode is a quicker pace designed for basically for all players to be online. You basically all arrange, hey, we'll play from this time to this time. Everybody comes online, and it's much quicker paced, and it can be very detrimental to not be there. Your civilization will basically languish in disarray when you're not there for the day. So it's definitely a much faster, more hands-on pace, but then you save it up at the end of the day and you continue it next week, versus the persistent, which you could easily spend that same week in persistent mode and get less done. So then there's solo mode, which is kind of just for training purposes. Let's go Truffletopia as the name. The solo mode is very much a single player version of it, slightly balanced, not really fully balanced to it, much faster paced, even has like faster, it's even got like a speed up buttons, which you won't find in the normal game. So we're going to go with regular map size, and you know what, actually let's go with small map size, because we're not going to be a ton of us on here. It's just me and my alter egos. And then Terra as the type. There's like tropical, which is just a whole weird island thing. You could do desert world and so on and so on. But I think we'll go with Terra. Gives us a basic balance, not as much desert stuff, probably more ocean than we need, and so on. So let's get it started and see what we can come up with here for a map. Okay. Now, this is the Truffletopia server. You can see it up top. And so the game does run, even in single player, does run a server function in the background. So just take note of that. You have to have both running for the game to work. Now, we're going to do character creation here. Make ourselves a new dude. So this is our character. He's our fearless leader. Snort, snort. I love it. I'll cut snort, snort. That's a fantastic name. Our classic Ramble Bumbleberg. I think that's what we used before. I think he should probably have a space in his name. Apparently, there's no backing up on this font. Okay. Bumbleberg. There we go. Ramble Bumbleberg. I like the face choice. We're going to go back to our authentic Ramble Bumbleberg, the slightly fantastically French mustached. I love this. The selection of mouths is just fantastic. I gotta run through them again. They're so good. Okay, so we got a Ramble Bumbleberg, the slightly uncertain, with his comb over. I love it. Carthapiga. That's funny. We're gonna do Solaria as we are wont to do before, and there we go. And this kind of looks a little bit close to our crest style. So that's our nation, and this is our banner. There's an interesting collection of varieties. I like it. None of this is really relevant to us. There is, apparently, on this map, there are 12 available slots. Now, that is from selecting the 4 types of starts. This is a basic start. These are considered valuable starts, so either a succession where somebody else has left the game in a multiplayer, already existing government in need of a successor. There is become a new leader of a colony created by another player. You will be joining their existing nation. Become a leader of a territory previously fallen into anarchy. So if a city loses its, if a player loses a grasp on a city, the city can become, basically disconnected from his society, his culture, and fall into anarchy, and then you can take over there. So one of those three options would be interesting for a real-time, or I believe we did succession for our weekend play with Sheraton there. So primitive tribes is the standard one. You just start out with 0 tech, and you're settling your first start of a city. So we did the Nordic start, the cold start before, and we did Arctic or arid. We did the desert river start, I believe, and we did a Nordic swamp start. So I'm going to leave those two shut off. There are still 11 starts, apparently. Really? There's only one option. One arid start, no cold starts. Apparently there's no cold places in this place, and very little arid territory. Okay. So we're going to leave temperate or tropical. Yeah, let's leave one or the other. We'll see what we get, and we'll see what the game starts for us here. All right, so we've begun. This is greetings, Rambo Bumbleberg. After living as nomads since the dawn of time, living off hunting and gathering, your primitive tribe has finally stumbled upon a territory that seems worthy in which to renounce their nomadic ways. The time has come to settle down and build something significant to stand the test of time, and they have chosen you as their leader. I don't think they had much of a choice, but yay! We're awesome. This seems to be a decent territory to do so, but maybe it's worth continuing the journey to find better lands. Not advised for new players. In almost every case, not advised. The decision is yours. Current mission. Land. We are in forest. Let's see. We're in a tropical hills river water forest. Okay. So this is the map. We have a world map, sort of old style Civ world, and each of these tiles is actually a fully functional city builder location. So we got tropical flat water forest over here. We got tropical hills over here. We got ourselves a tropical flat plains, and this is also tropical flat, not plains, I guess, tropical and flat. This is, it's called water forest. Oh, it's got river tile in it. I see, it's got a little river. Well, let's have a look what's inside here. To note, this is our tribe. We don't have any other tribes next door, but we do have a herd of noisy Gaia water buffalo, I believe. Buffalo, yes. So each biome has its own, like this is tropical. Each biome has its own set of animals and plants and different types of trees and so on that will be associated with them, and a different look to it. So we can click up here. I'm going to basically talk about stuff as we come across it. Do note that up on the top right side, only in solo mode, as far as I understand, there is a speed control option here. So we are connected to our pseudo server. We got a speed boost for the beginning first 15 minutes or so. Things work better. Creating our first settlement is our mission, and these are three kind of victory points. The goal of the game is to be the first entity, first nation, first empire, first single player, whatever it is, to reach 100 points. You get that by achieving these things up here. So let's click on there without further ado and get into our little new community. So we're going to kind of blast through the first initial tutorial stuff. It's, you know, lay down a woodcutter, lay down a clay gatherer, make yourselves your first tools, gather some first plants, that sort of thing. The main thing you want to do when you start is get through that, and then have some time to look around the map nearby. That's how I think of it. Scout our beautiful little tweety little jungle area here for different resources, and kind of think through what situation our empire is going to possibly develop into. Resources to take note of, first off, that are always there. Let's go with the ones that are always there. There will always be some trees. There will always be some water. There will always be some rock, usually very, very little of it. There will always be some clay. If you right-click, I can see what's on the tile. this is what you should expect in your starting zone. There will also be some sort of food source. This is rice here, okay? One gatherable food source, one gatherable animal source, be usually like a hunting location. This is a very bizarre sort of a river deal going on here. The terrain here is quite wonky. So it's this sort of isometric viewed world that we get to begin with. And really noisy, jungly sounds. That's fantastic. Is there a way to, say, remove the volume slightly? Because the background noises, those birdies. Let's quiet down there, little jungle. You're a beautiful little jungle, but you need to chill out a little. You're a little over. Oh my goodness, a little overzealous. I think I'm happy with this location. What about you? This is a giant. Well, not giant, but it's at least, in my opinion, a large, bordering on huge copper deposit. I'm not sure how usable, how accessible it'll be with the terrain, but we will be able to utilize pretty much all of it for sure. So the first thing we're gonna need to do is kind of have a look around and see about things like that. Do you have a special resource like copper? Do you have enough food resources? Preferably, the thing I look for first is there fish in the area, because there will usually be a hunting spot, but which I haven't seen yet, oddly enough. But there's also usually some sort of fishing spot. This is beans. Yes, excellent. So beans is another one of the harvestables. This is coal in the hills here. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's just those little black tiled there. I'm still not seeing any animal. Oh, there. Oh, there's a buffalo. Hello, buffalo. What are you doing? There's distinctly a water buffalo wandering around there, so I'm not sure. All right, so the missions is going to be to create a settlement, okay? We have to settle the troops that we have. Now, the people we have should be around here somewhere. There they are. Right now, they're just a marauding group. We're going to tell them it's time to settle down and make a home. We're in heavily forested territory here. So to do that, you can do this from the map, selecting them and right-clicking, but you can also do it here, and we're going to say this is the tile we're going to settle. It's not going to be Cusopleo. It's going to be Truffleton, because we're awesome pigs like that. Alright, now this is going to change everything. So we now have a population, we now have a city, we now have all the different things, and we now have a bunch of quests. So our first quest, should you choose to accept it, wait a second. Our first quest, do we need to build houses before we get building options? Because there's supposed to be a build command up here. Okay, that's our first mission to settle. Water for the tribe is our first real mission. We need a water collectors. Can you guys maybe... Apparently not. Okay, I think I might have to load out to the map and load back in. You generally don't start the map, or I generally don't start from inside here. Look at that! Look at our territory with our fancy shield. Truffleton. Alright, we'll go back into Truffleton now, because we're cool. Look at those warring pigs. Wouldn't they be scary to see? That dude is in some serious hurt. But he's clearly hopped up on something, because he's just taking it like a champ. Taking it like a champ. I'm gonna snap the spearhead off in my own flesh and punch you with my right-handed spear. Alright, there we go. Now we got their controls and everything in place. We can stop babbling. Up here we have the build menu with 6 different categories, be it infrastructure, government, military, culture, production, and housing. Housing, we're going to start, it has our water collector. That was our first mission. I was going to say this thing hasn't loaded up yet, but if you notice, this water is a bit muddy because it gets inside in the jungle. It's kind of amusing. I like that those sort of things exist. Alright, we'll put that right on top of a tree, knock a tree out for us. Meat. We need our meat industry operational, so we're going to go to production. We're going to find our hunter, and this is going to... Oh, there we go. There's a meat tile. That is... Is that Cupabera or whatever they're called? Let's check. We're going to put the meat gatherer down there, and it's going to be super awesome laggy, because it's an early access. It's a one-man development team, so... Ah, Cupabera. Excellent. So they're a huntable animal. Now, there may be more huntable stuff around, but we're not going to fuss with that right now, because we're just going to plow through these missions first off. We produce meat. Did it finish? Building's finished. It's now housed. Now producing meat. They make 1.2 meat, and I forget what the timer is on that in this particular mode. But I don't know. It'll tell us. I'll look that up in a moment. We did the mission for the meat. Now we gotta do the similar thing with gathering. So if we click that, it's gonna bring up all these crazy icons all over the place. These are indications of not specific individual tiles of grain, but a general area where there's going to be some sort of gatherable crop. I'm going to basically find any place that gets the max, which is 0.9. You see, if I stick it right in the middle of all this, the tiles underneath this building itself will be deleted, or will be non-usable, so finding a spot like that doesn't over-waste sounds good. But look, see the red space? That's now, if I place another one in that area, those spaces are already being used by that first one. So we could substantially improve the amount of production from that category. We're going to leave it, though. We're just going to follow the tutorial quickly through its to its conclusion, so we can get everything, all the basics set up and running. So what it wants us to do now is to do tool making and flint gathering and start producing hammers. Hammers are your basic building for making all your resources, and we can put these, like, the town is over there. I could put this way the heck over here, and it would be just as functional as if it was nearby. There's no... It basically... There is no specific territory that requires, like, proximity at all. So we're going to give a little bit of space, put 2 of those guys down. I do like to have my production buildings relatively close to my settled area. So I'm going to grab the builder right here, the tool maker. And we'll put him up on just this edge of this cliff here. You can overlook, a beautiful vista to overlook the megatropolis of pigs that they got here in their little hovels, their little mud slums. But hey, Porco and Lady Sow here are happy together. He's mining, working off in the distant mine. Their life quality is terrible. Their health is negative from living in the slum. But they're optimistic because they're part of the new great empire of Truffleton, or whatever it is. Solaria. That's right. Now we need to make wood. That's the next mission. It takes a little moment for each of these buildings to finish. We'll get into the building process later, but for right now, we just need some lumber, so we can go ahead and maybe throw in 2 of them. Let's throw a second one over here. We've got to make sure we don't cover up this tile here. You see this, where this guy is? There's like a tile there. The red. That is the redded out tile in the bottom corner of my icon right now. That is the actual animals. If you bury those with the structure, you will lose them. And you can lose them permanently. Okay, that's there and gone, or at least you used to be able to. Violent Storm gave us 20 wood. Okay. We have to get wood production up. We got that one going, and now we have the defending of the tribe. So we're introducing the concept of military here. So let's go over to... No, it's not there. It's formations. We can start a new formation. So let's brief this one. Okay, there are 2 types of formations. There are army formations and there are militia. There's a lot of important things you got to note between the 2, but the most important thing is to generate a really cool sounding name. Truffleton's Giants sounds fantastic. And militia type is what we've been told to do. So if we go, we also were told to do rock throwers, which are under the ranged units. So there's civilian types. You'll have people doing carrying. You can have porcos. Sometimes you can, not in the militia, but in an army, you can have porcos. The whole works. All the types of people can work. The male, the female, the babies, the adults, the seniors, all of them, I think, can go into the army here. That's so if you want to colonize somewhere, you can take a batch of people later and move to another map tile, as we saw in the world, and actually settle a second city, and so on. Melee units start out with the Mighty Warrior here, which is basically a dude with a hunk of wood in his hand. He just grabs a palm leaf or palm branch and goes and beats people up with it. I guess a palm branch is a bad example. But this guy has a big rock that he holds over his head, tries not to drop it, and eventually throw it at the enemy. It's a ranged weapon. It's really crappy, but we have to recruit them. And it was set to do 10, so that's our first goal here. Now, I'll get into, before too long, we'll set up a little defensive structure so that we can survive against some raids. But we have our first introduction to the concept of knowledge. So knowledge is your tech tree. It's how you develop in the game. It is very much a A beautifully done, in my opinion, unique and not quite fully understandable or fully masterable concept of how knowledge develops and grows. In solo mode, he's balanced it better so that there's less likelihood of you having a key research that you need that you can't seem to spawn. And spawn is kind of what I mean intentionally, because if you click here, this is a new idea, the little light bulb, sedentary life. Let's just read this. You get the idea of the concept behind the research this way. And one evening by the tribe's campfire, Grooky Lazy Snort spoke in these words: "We have everything we need here. What if we stopped moving around like the ancients and stayed for good in this territory? I'm tired of mounting and dismounting these tents every day. By staying in the same place, we can accumulate more tools and more things without having to worry about carrying them." The idea of sedentary life comes because they've started settling down in a single area. You'll see more of these. We'll read them as they come, but then the idea pops into some Porco's head, and it's now available as a knowledge in your empire, right? So we've got the empire government tab up here showing our national layout. If we had multiplayer going on there, others could be subordinate, and or we could be subordinate to them in an imperial hierarchy that players actually develop and set themselves with taxes and all the rest. It's pretty involved. The policies, there are 4 categories of policies. We'll get to those shortly. And then there's the knowledge tab. Now we currently can host, this is our knowledge, basically our library of knowledge. We have culture of just rounded to 170. Rounds up to 170, which gives us a culture of 17, 1/10 of our culture. In total, in our whole empire, this happens to be our entire empire, gives us our culture level here. Libraries are specialty buildings that we can soon build that allows us to do more with that. Unfortunately, we got Mud Basket for free without being able to read the event up here, which is disappointing because it's a cute one. It's basically a mom who's a basket maker, and pretty crappy a basket maker. She knows she sucks at it, but Junior was off playing in this special weird mud that he found, i.e. in the clay pit, and came back coated in this mud after spending time playing around in the sun, and it was really hard and she had a hard time washing it off, and realized, what if I put this on my really crappy baskets, leave it out in the sun and let it cook a bit, dry a bit, maybe my baskets wouldn't be so crappy. I think it's just really cool things like that I really love about this game. So, sedentary life, about the tech concept of this thing. So, sedentary life is what we want to do. Sedentism is the technology. We mouse over it says it'll give us house ones, wooden fences, stone fences, and the Elder Circle. We'll explain those as we get to them, but that also says it's got a requirement of 2 knowledge. Of our total 17 capacity, we'll use 2 of them to get sedentary life. The project requires us to assign workers. Now, a specific type of worker, in this case farmers, we need to assign up to 10 of them. We can assign 3 because that's all we have. We only built the one housing spot, or one farm spot. And he's going to take 7 seconds to finish this project. Basically nods and smiles and says, yep, sounds good. And 100% success chance. They're basically, the number of these guys is producing research every X amount. Every 5 seconds they produced X amount. Ta-da! Research finished. They will get longer and more involved as we go and demand other things, but that's the general gist of it. Victory point given for the first to discover sedentism. Sometimes that's not the case. These are kind of randomized. Largest city, for instance, is population superior to 200. Now that's anybody, and if you're playing a real-time or a persistent, anybody in the whole game, that 50, 60, 100 players, or 10 or 8 or 7 of your buddies playing on the weekend, any one of them can get these, and only one person gets the points for that. So when first person to enable the civic fair exchange and have a government balance that is positive gets the economic pioneer option. And then this one is biggest producer, and it is water. Somebody gets a victory point for being the biggest producer of water, which I find very amusing. So we got 10 wood for the rock throwers. We'll look at our inventory shortly. So much to cover here in the first episode. And then it really slows down after that, but that's fine. Sedentism successfully researched gave us 5 hammers, 20 wood, and 5 leather. And now we have the Project Sedentism successfully completed message and our first housing mission. So 12 families will arrive in the settlement. Basically, another tribe will arrive and join us if we settle down, and that includes having 10 houses in our area. These are house ones. That is what we're going to end up working with first off. So I'm going to start them tucked right in the mountain's ridge here, I think. Yeah, that'll work. Let's start there. Let's go big long lines of 10 houses here. And then we'll put a second row behind, except for I placed them wrong. Oh, thanks. Thanks for interrupting. Let's try that again. One out there, and then we gotta line them up. I want a double row here. And you don't actually need roads. They're not a thing that's actually part of the requirement of the game, as far as I understand. But if I went over to infrastructure, do I have roads yet? No, I don't. Okay. I could use wood and stone to make fences. Stairs would allow us to actually get up to higher terrain tiles like that. We don't need that, however, either. So these slums right here, we can start explaining this. The slums have a life quality. There's only old Joe here living. Two, old Joe and old Sally live here in this place. 1 life quality and -5 health. So overall, if we select here for the first time, we look at our population map, we are losing people like crazy because they're starving, basically. Different classes in this game. There are the 3 non-porco working classes: the piglets, the babies, the old pigs, male and female. They just all grow big beards and mustaches. That's how it works in pig world. And the rather Miss Piggy-like sows. I love that they all look like Miss Piggy. So the sows, and a combination of a sow and a porco and some number of piglets, possibly some number of piglets, and possibly some number of old pigs makes up a household. So we have 31 females, so we probably have anywhere from 31 to, I would guess, 40. I usually tack on about 8 or 10 to that number, say about 40 households we're looking for. And we just added 20 housing, and each of these new houses, also household 1, but their life quality instead of 1 is now 5, and their health instead of -5 is now +6. So it's a massive improvement to let these people get into decent, very early stage, not so great, but decent housing. Now you can cram these things right up against each other in every nook and cranny. It does not matter. Just like the other parts of the game, it doesn't really there's no walkers like you found in Pharaoh and Caesar, where you need to have access to certain services and whatnot. It's abstracted out at this point in the game. It probably will remain that way indefinitely. It wouldn't suit this game to add those in. So that should be enough housing for everybody that is currently living in the slums, all our magnificent porcos, to join us in a bigger, more happy environment. And that will bring up their quality, their average intelligence, because their life quality goes up, their health goes up, they have a chance to get a little smarter. That's the deal. We did the building houses, and we had a lucky gather in for some agricultural food. So let's have a look at, I didn't notice that, unfortunately. What did it give us? I didn't see. Lucky gather. 15 agricultural food. Oh, there it is. Corn. So let's tell them to stockpile 40 corn. Now, what that does is that says that anything that's in this stock that is below 40 isn't allowed to be distributed to the population for food. And the reason is I want to keep that in case we need it for seed crop. Also, if you mouse over here, you see if the current stock is below the desired value, 25% of the production will be reserved and locked in in order to increase the stock. So if we're producing 5 or 4, and if we're producing 4, we'll distribute 3 and we'll store 1 until this number is reached. So that's the long, short, and everything in between of that. All right, now we are producing. The little green plus shows us that we're actually making some. Stone, we're not making any. Rice, we're not making any. Meat, we're actually losing because we have a stockpile of meat. We haven't told them not to use the meat, which we don't want to do. We are gathering 1.2, and 1.3 is coming out of the stockpile. That's the negative there. Also, we can start adding in different things for workforce and stuff. Right now we have 13 inactive porcos. So we've got 17 of 17 jobs are filled, and we have 30 people that can be employed, and 13 are not. So we got to get that sorted out. Now, what else was it doing? First, explorers. Okay, so this is now the army, not a militia, but an army, and I'll explain the difference there. Now, let's. I want to keep pressing through here for the explanation of things. The trufflemongers. That's fantastic. I love it. Okay, trufflemongers. It's going to be now. It's told us to build 3 carriers and 10 warriors. No problem. We can do that. Except for I just deleted the trufflemongers, didn't I? I did. Okay. It's going to give me the option to shield the Truffleton. No, the old pigs. Love it. Okay, trufflemongers may be gone forever. Truffleton's bloodhounds. Okay, sounds good. An army named Truffleton's bloodhounds. So we're going to select. Notice in the army you've also got sows, not just porcos. Sows and carriers. Carriers basically they use up a leather. They use a leather to make, and they carry, I think, 15 capacity versus a regular porco or warrior. Warriors carry 3. Throwers carry 3. Carriers carry 15. So they're gonna basically just stand in the background, carry back the booty from our loot, from our army. Now we can select that army over here, or select it by selecting its actual encampment, and hit recruit, the add button, and we're gonna switch over to not there. We needed to add warriors. It told us, so we need 10 warriors in this village. And that'll be every person that we've got, I think, that's unemployed. Convenient. What is this? First hunt. Oh, yes. Complete event 84. We have to... event 84, I love how there's, like, just a... just an event number on it. We did get those. We got 20 wood for having the warriors. Our next big one, there's 2 left. The growing the tribe is 1, we'll look at that, but our population has to hit 200, and then 5 more families arrive, and we get a free random idea, and then there's the first hunt. So let's go do the first hunt. We receive 20 meat, 20 leather, and the idea hunting companions if we succeed at a hunt. So let's go back out to the map and look what we can do for hunting some nasties. Actually, we're not hunting nasties. We're hunting very peaceful buffalo, I think. We were going to hunt peaceful buffalo. The buffalo seem to have left. I think they all jumped in the ocean. Well, that's unfortunate. We may have some problems here. We'll let them build up some of their action points. So you start out with, I think, 0 action points when you spawn your army. Militia always have 100, but they cannot move. I can't tell this militia to go anywhere. See, look. Tell them to encamp, claim territory. Can't do it. Armies are the ones that do that, and we are generating 30 per minute in resources. So let's just use for the first time this speed up button to, let's go right up to max speed and let him charge up his action points, because when he moves away from his capital he will not recharge anywhere near as quickly. In fact, I think we get like 1 or 2 per minute. Like, it's super slow, so you're better off to step out, come back, and recharge if you can in your village. The action points, moving around with a small army is very detrimental, and I think small is anything less than 6, maybe anything less than 10. No, let's lower the speed down again, because he's all full. So this first army, the Bloodhounds, Truffleton's Bloodhounds, we will move down here into the woods here. Now it's going to cost us 9 action points. We could encamp there, we could settle there, or we could claim the territory. We're just going to move. Now, when we do, there you go, some water buffalo. There should be an event. Yep. Lose a unit from our formation event. Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, this might be very bad for our health. Now, the first time you step on a world tile, it can do an event, or almost always does do an event, but not inherently the next time. This will be the first step into that tile, so we're going to move there first, and then we're going to see about hunting these water buffalo. Oh, there's a lot of them. That's alright, they have a combat strength of 154. We have a combat strength of 56. What could possibly go wrong? I feel like this is suicide. Alright, well, we won't hunt them, we won't fight them all at the same time. We'll only fight one group at a time. So we can pop in there, have a look at what the fight is like. They basically spawn into the map, and then they charge off to battle, because they're warriors. Valiant and stupid. That's how they work. And they're going to charge off to attack the with dramatic sound effects. they're going to go attack these mighty buffalo that'll probably kick their butts. I'm not sure. 17 of them, if they all attack us, if they all respond and fight back all at once, we're hooped. That's the way it's going to be. We'll see. That's our encampment. Oh, there's the buffalo down there. Where's our dudes? Oh, they're hanging out by the tents. They're just coming out of the tents. So, looks like we'll probably be able to run in and just smash one batch at a time, hopefully. We'll see. Now notice our carriers are still standing up here. That's fine. They will just be there and be peaceful and safe and hopefully leave if they leave with a bunch of resources rather than leaving empty-handed and dead. Or not leaving at all. Charge! Beat those buffalo! Come on! People at home depending on your survival. You're bringing back the mighty hunt. You can make a lot of spoons out of those buffalo horns. Or you can all die. Horrific deaths. Oh, bugger me. Well, a knowledgeable traveler. We lose loyalty, get a random event. Ban the old pig. Go away, old pig. I don't want to lose loyalty or get a random event. A random tech, because it could be something stupid or it could be something great, but probably not something we can use. This does not look like it's going to pan out very well for us. Should have went home and got more people, but we don't have very many, but everyone that dies here is a working porco in our village. So this could be very detrimental to us if we lose this battle. It looks like we might. The birds are leaving. The other buffalo are like, nah, don't care. Don't care what's going on. This is really slow. Let's make you dance really fast. It's the spastic battle. I like the speed thing. That is a nice feature to add to single player. Looks like these guys are locked in a forever battle. I don't know. Nope, not a forever battle. Battle's over. We lost. What are you dancing for, guys? You lost the battle. Maybe they can bring home some of the loot, but we just lost 10 porcos. That's a horrible way to end this. Yep. Okay, well, who do we have here? You are gonna let me select them? Hunting companions. We still got the event. Well, that's fantastic. We can add our we have 4 hunters. Add our 4 hunters. Tell them use up 8 meat and give us the hunting companion stack. That's domestic dogs. Wolves are fierce pack hunters. They run fast and they're small. So, yeah, they're basically adding animals adding wolves as a. Why can I not select this dude? No. See, why are you not selectable? Where's my army? There we go. I just want you. I don't want to bring the buffalo. They're probably too angry and will probably beat us up. Did we gather anything? Well, they did come out with some of the... Well, they brought one dude's weapon back. The captain's weapon came back. And 36 meat and 9 leather. Well, not great. Not a great turnout, considering you're coming back with just about nobody. Look at that. All 9 of our warriors dead. 1 lost in the field on the way. We managed to kill 3... 3 of them. There's only 5 of them there. We can only carry some of the loot that came back too. So this group here, we're going to select his inventory, click on it, click on it and say unload. And we can unload that stuff into the colony's inventory. Oops. And over here. There we go. And now I'm actually going to tell this army, the Bloodhounds, to disband. Because those 3 workers can get back to work in the village and try to make up for the horrible loss that was our battle. First hunt. It went terribly, but we got it. Now we have to grow the tribe, and we have to grow the tribe even more because, you know, I killed them off. But that will have to be in the next episode. Hope you guys like the game. It is it's still very, like, I don't know if you could pause at the very beginning of the video. I might have missed it, actually. When you load up the game, it warns you that it is a one-man show and it is extremely slow development. Don't expect instant change. It's been over a year, or almost a year since maybe over a year now since I started playing the game the first time, and fundamentally it's still the same game, but there has been some very, very impressive improvements and updates to it. Mostly, I'm just going to add in more storage here because having stuff sitting and rotten on the ground would be terrible for our outcome. The game is mostly being developed bit by bit, just as a one-man show. So not mostly, it is entirely a one-man show. So it'll take time to see improvement and development of the game, but there is a lot already that's fantastic about it, in my opinion. So hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to see more, let me know in the comments. If this is a format that interests you, doing a this is going to be day 1, Monday's episode for this series, and we're going to do 7 episodes of it, and then we'll put it on the shelf and we'll wait and see how it what the outcome is. It might be something. These might be something that we eventually turn into a longer process play, or they might not. The next week, hopefully, we'll be ready to go with a new, real life schedule and all permitting. We'll hopefully be able to go with a new event there. One last thing, it's asking, do we like fish sticks? Well, I like fish sticks. With some tartar sauce. Tasty. How about some bacon? Oh, no, not with bacon. Bad idea. Strange animals live in the water. Tasty ones. If we manage to catch them, for they move too swiftly for our piggy hands. Maybe we can throw sticks like we hunt beasts in the wilderness and catch them. If we can master this skill, we like fish sticks. So fishing is going to be something the hunters will train when we have 10 javelins. So we'll have to wait until we have 10 javelins, but that'll come from a new tech in the next episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in the chiefdom of Solaria here in the beautiful town of Truffleton as we go through trials and tribulations and lose population like mad. So we'll sort that out. We'll get our population growing in the next episode, and I would have it growing at this point, but I spent so much time explaining that I haven't put down the extra hunting or fishing or camping or gathering sites and all that. But we'll get into that in the next episode. Thank you so much. Hit the like button if you do want to see more of these one-week adventures in new games. And thank you so much. We'll see you in game.